Hello, Steve White, Trick Boy 89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, I just saw the news from New York Comic Con that the first wave of figures from Nacelle, who are doing the next, line of Star Trek figures, has been announced. And I initially got excited until I read a bit more and realised there's a huge problem. The figures that are announced were interesting, and I was really happy about it. They're doing Peter Preston from Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan, Scotty's nephew. They're doing Valkyrie from Star Trek 3, whoever thought we'd have a character of her. Captain Garrett, Tuvix, because nothing starts an argument with Voyager fans like Tuvix, so why not have an argument right there on the shelf. Mira Archer, the idea of doing the Enterprise crew in the original series uniforms from In a Mirror Darkly is awesome. Wayun, don't care. Captain Sulu, I'd love to have a Captain Sulu figure to put with my motion picture era figures from Art Asylum, but I can't do that because they're not doing these characters in any scale that we've already got figures from, which makes no sense because their initial announcement was we're doing 6-inch figures, and in my head I was thinking that the Art Asylum figures were 6 inches, but they were actually 7. So at first I thought, oh, awesome, they're doing that in that scale, which made sense because they're talking about doing deep cut figures and figures we don't have, and I'm like, well, that's great, we can add them to the other line, the other figures. It'll be like, DC Multiverse or something like that, where we can just keep buying figures and adding to them. They're all on the same scale. It'll be awesome. And then I realised, oh no, they're 7 inches. These are 6 inches. There's only 2 lines of Star Trek figures in 6 inches. They did a small line for Star Trek First Contact. I think they added Janeway and Cisco, but there's only like 9 characters altogether. And of course they did the 2009 line of films from the JJ film, of course. So I thought, okay, well, that means we're basically starting another collection of 6-inch figures, and we're expanding on those with different lines because we've already got 2 lines of figures, so we'll just be getting other ones. I'm like, oh, that's okay. And then I read this, and it's like they're not giving us 6-inch figures or 7-inch figures. They're doing 7 to 6-inch figures, so 6.5-inch figures. So they're not going to fit in either scale. So this is the 7-inch Art Asylum scale, and this is the 6-inch Playmates 2009 film line scale. So 6.5 inches is not going to work with either of these. So what is the point? I really don't get it. Either give us figures in a scale we've already been collecting with that are deep cuts and haven't been done before that we can add to our other collections and expand on our collection, or just start a new line in whatever scale you're doing and just give us the main characters and give us like a whole set of characters so we get a whole crew so we can commit to it and know, even if they don't do a second wave, at least the first wave is going to be a full set of characters. But oh no, we're just getting these random characters, these deep cut characters in a random scale that's not going to match anything. What is the point? It's so frustrating because all we want is to continue the collections we've got and expand on them. That's all we want. And they're not going to do that because, and I thought it was because, well, they think deep cut figures won't sell because people just want the main characters, but they've already got them in 5 times in different scales. That's why I thought they were doing deep cut figures in scales we've already got. But they're not doing that. So they're not doing either. Neither approach is going to work. And it's just so disappointing because what's going to happen. They're going to fail just like Playmates failed. Playmates came back and sort of promised us a continuation of the 5.5 line, and then it turned out being a slightly different scale, and they did characters we already had, and they only did 1 new character that we didn't have, which was Spock, and then they did 2 Discovery characters no one cared about, but also just 2. Like, why would you buy 2 characters from a crew of 7 when you're not sure if you're going to get the other ones? Like, so it failed miserably, and that's why we've got a new company doing figures now. And it's not going to work either. It's going to fail as well because just collectors like me aren't going to want to do this. And it's just like, it's going to fail and they're going to blame us. They're going to say, well, they just don't want action figures anymore, obviously, and then we won't get any more action figures. And it's like, they didn't sell because you had a stupid strategy. Instead of giving us, continuing on in lines and scales we've already got, or giving us a brand new one from scratch and doing all the legacy characters where at least maybe you haven't been collecting before, you can start from there, and other fans like myself if we think for a second you might give us a whole line, we might commit to a new line. But we're getting nothing. It's like, it makes no sense. And it's just such a waste of resources. The money's being spent on this just for it to fail, when they could have spent that same money giving us something we want that would have sold. I want to give Paramount my money. I love Star Trek. I love action figures. I'd like to buy more. I'd like to expand on the ones I've already got. This is so annoying. This is like the third video that were all rants, and I'm too tired to rant at this point, but I'm just exhausted by the stupidity of all this. I just am. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of this disaster in the making.